Today on the channel, we're taking advantage of the technology in the Konnected Joe, and we're doing a bone-in pork butt. Didn't even have time to wrap it because I wasn't here. It's gonna be delicious. Let's get into it. What's up, barbecue fans? Welcome back to the patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Mama Cook. Today on the channel, we're breaking it with the Konnected Joe, and we're using some of that technology because I had a busy day today. Didn't have time to be here all day, and I'm like, hey, got a Konnected Joe, still need to do some barbecue. I can control it remotely, so let's put it to the test. So what we're doing is we're doing a Berkshire bone-in pork butt. We're gonna do it no wrap. It's been going all day. It's done now. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks delicious, if I do say so myself. It's ready to be pulled off, but before I do that, let me bring you up to speed. So last night, I unpacked two Dartigan Foods Berkshire bone-in pork butts. Now, Berkshire, also referred to as Kubota pork. When you put traditional pork and Berkshire side by side, you're gonna see that one's red and one's kind of washed out. Big color difference. Intermuscular fat is different and the flavor is different. And really when it comes down to something like pulled pork, I find that when I use like a Costco bone-in butter, anywhere, really, like some of the inexpensive stuff, I end up going through that and there's a lot of stringy fat that I end up pulling out and I throw it out. I don't like to chew on it. When I do the Berkshire ones, I'll tell you what, there's no waste. I literally don't pull anything out. I just go through there and it's all delicious. So just a little side note on that. What I did here is we used my go-to pork rub. It's from Grill Mates. I've been using it 16, 17 years. Memphis Pit Slow and Low. I love it. Yes, I've tried a bunch of other stuff that's great, but I always come back to this one. So I buy it in packs of 10 or 12 on Amazon. And for this particular application, I use 2 packages for one, but they're about 9 pounds, just to give you an idea. So what we did is we cross-hatched the fat on the top of that. The reason we're doing that is we want to open it up a little bit and try and get some of that seasoning underneath the fat and into the meat. Then we flip it over, we put a heavy coat on the bottom, all over the sides, flipped it back over, put a heavy coat again on the fat, and then I tried to separate that and get some into the meat. Then we put it into a cooling rack and put it in the fridge for about 16 hours. So then we got up this morning, we took the cover off the Konnected Joe. So what we did is we cleaned out our Konnected Joe, and then we put some hickory and some cherry down below, put some big block over top of that, and then what I did is I put the ceramic heat diffusers on the lowest part there, and then I grabbed the star accessory and I put a foil tin there, or foil dish there, 9 by 12-ish, 9 by 13, and I filled it about halfway with water. Now in this particular situation, I'm not gonna be here all day. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be able to spray it, give it any moisture. So I put some moisture in there, put my grates on there, then I threw on my pork butt. And then I fired it up at 275 and I walked away. I left for the entire day. About 6 hours in or so, I did dial it up to about 325. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Joes in general, if you're cooking off the dome temperature, one thing I'm gonna let you know is that when you're using the Konnected Joe, if you're set to 275, it's gonna be about 40 degrees less on our dome temp. Okay, so if you're used to cooking off the dome temp, you're gonna bump it up a little bit. They're always tweaking. There's a brand new firmware that I installed today. So they're always tweaking the programming. So when I bumped it up to 325 remotely when I was out and about, I brought my dome up to about 275. And that was about 12 and a half hours ago. As I said, I haven't touched it, haven't done anything. It's looking delicious. All we gotta do now is we gotta get some foil. I made a vinegar sauce. We're gonna let it rest on that and then we're gonna try it. So what I've got here is I've got a baking sheet tray here and some foil in case we puncture. I do that a lot for some reason. I guess I'm too rough with my meat. But we're gonna put this on here so that it doesn't fall through. The one thing I'm gonna tell you, I gotta be honest, you guys know that I don't hide anything. I'm scared to check the temperature on this guy because truth be told, I just recorded my intro and the first 10 minutes like 3 times because I had a battery problem, then I had a microphone problem, and this was done when I started. So it's had a good probably 30 minutes to cook too far, but let's see We're not too bad. 207, I was scared it was gonna be like crazy high, but well, you can see that the fat just ripped off there. It's in really good shape. It's tender, I will say that, I will say that. So like, even though this has not been covered the entire time, we had a lot of moisture in there, and there's one spot here that's a little crunchy. The rest of it actually does not feel too bad. I'm surprised. This part feels great. So what I'm gonna do here, my bottom's perfect. Yeah, no problems there. What I have here is I have a vinegar sauce that I made up as part of another video. You guys will have to check out that video. I'll give you a hint, it was done on the Yoder. It's not out yet, so you're gonna have to wait. But I'll tell you what, it is delicious, but when that video comes out, I will put a link to it below the video, and I'll put a card up, so maybe you just have to come back and watch this. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna pour a little on top. I don't wanna pour too much, I just want something to get a little bit of moisture in here as we let this rest. Let's put these guys, there we go. All I'm gonna do, and this thing already wants to fall apart, I'm just gonna roll this over like that, just so I can get a little bit of moisture up there. The bottom is in really good shape, I just wanna get that one edge. And what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna let this guy sit for maybe an hour. I think it'll come down to temperature, and our vinegar sauce here will just help break that down a little bit. I think it's gonna be fine just the way it is, but since I have the sauce here and it is delicious, I figured, what the heck. So since we have to wait for this for a little bit, I might as well tell you about the contest. On the channel, we do a contest every video. All you gotta do is you gotta be subscribed to the channel, you gotta like the video, and you have to comment with 2 hashtags. I'll give them to you now. We're gonna do hashtag pulled pork and hashtag Berkshire pork. All you gotta do, comment down below using those hashtags. On the next video, I'll use a random comment generator, and if I pick your comment, you'll win a $25 gift card to @bbq.com. And if you happen to be a Patreon member, it starts at $5. I'll double it and I'll make it $50. Let's look at last week's winner, and I'll take this guy in and we'll let it rest. Been about 45 minutes. Let's have a look. Hopefully in one piece. No, it's soft. I mean, as you can see, it is fall apart tender. We will pull this guy out like so. Well, the great thing about pulled pork, it's super forgiving and delicious. And even though we didn't wrap it, everything's pretty tender. There's a couple little pieces here, the bark that I can feel are a little bit crispy, but really not too bad. Give it a little taste. The nice thing about that is you can taste some smoke. Because it was uncovered the whole time, it really got some of that smoke. The cherry, what it does is it adds a little color, but it also adds a little bit of sweetness. And because hickory is a little bit of a more flavorful or more intense smoke, it comes through on a long smoke. Not overdone by any means. I can tell you that I came home briefly around 4 hours in and it was still smoking good, so it was working how I wanted. When I got back a little later, it wasn't smoking, but at that point in time, it's past 160 and there's no smoke getting in there. I'm gonna try a little bit more. Man, that's tasty. That, my friends, is a wrap on a no wrap pork butt. If you're new to a Kamado, any Kamado in general, and you have not done pork butt, give it a shot. It is super forgiving. Even if you take a little higher, you're still gonna turn out some great pork, and it's pretty hard to mess up. So give it a shot. If you liked the video, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to enter the contest and subscribe while you're down there. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.